Go.
Hello, my name is Katie Manning, and welcome to Geeks Audio Heads, and have a lovely day, chucks. Hey!
Hey.
Hello, Geeks Assembled fans. Yes, this is Audio Heads again, and we are together happily anticipating the Christmas season with a real Dickens powerhouse classic, A Christmas Carol, of course. This time with Derek Jacobi and a few other people. And I've got a couple other fellas here who endeavored to listen to the 3.5 hour long unabridged audiobook as provided by Audible to enjoy the Christmas season with me. And I'd like to find out what they thought. What are your initial thoughts, please, Dad? Oh, you're speaking with your eyebrows. Very good.
Well, it had a couple of friends in it, so I was quite happy to listen to this. As you say, Derek Jacobi was in it, but he played Charles Dickens doing the narration, which was interesting. But my old school chum, Kenneth Cranham, played Ebenezer Scrooge. And Ken Cranham and I were both at school together at Tulse Hill School in South London. And yeah, we actually worked on stage together as well. And he really did a surprisingly good job of Ebenezer Scrooge. I really enjoyed his performance, but then I don't think he's ever done a performance that I didn't enjoy. But this is the first time I've heard Kenneth on an audio, and he was really, really good. And of course, Roger Allen playing Jacob Marley was also brilliant. I loved that. Brendan Coyle doing The Ghost of Christmas Past. They actually describe it brilliantly. The descriptions. And my old chum Miriam Margolyes playing The Ghost of Christmas Present. It's unusual to have a female Ghost of Christmas Present, which I thought was absolutely superb, and I thought she did it brilliantly. I really did think she did it very well. And Tim McInnery as The Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. Normally, The Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come doesn't say anything at all. He's silent. Basically, he's like a deathly creature who literally just points the way and escorts, but doesn't actually say anything. But yeah, it worked. It worked having a Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come speaking. I quite enjoyed that. Yeah, the Cratchits, Jamie Glover, Bob, and Emily Bruni playing Mrs. Cratchit. They were good. They were good. Jenna Coleman as Belle. His, the young one, the young girlfriend. Really good. She sounded really good. Of course, Hugh Skinner playing Fred, his nephew, was great. He was great. I liked writing. There was a couple of moments that had been adapted that I wasn't entirely sure about, but most certainly the denouement was brilliantly done. Loved it. So yes, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much.
Thanks. How about you, Lee?
as you said, 3.5 hours long, and I did this in one sitting, and I thoroughly enjoyed it because it just, you know, because you get these adaptations of A Christmas Carol in the movies and in audio. You get the watered down versions, you know, the edited versions. This was the full shebang, shall we say. And there was things in it when I was listening to it, I think, oh yeah, no, the Ghost of Christmas Present. I always remember it had the torch, but you lose that sort of thing in these watered down versions and stuff like that. And I do agree, the having Miriam play the ghost, wonderfully played. It was really good. I enjoyed it. It was just dragged you in. The narration by Derek Jacobi is Charles Dickens. I mean, everybody knows I don't like narration, but this is how it was written, and this is how they've adapted it, and it worked so well. It's Beef Dad's old mate Kenneth playing Scrooge. He's sort of now made a living as Kenneth, playing the old rough diamond, the grumpy old man nowadays. But he does it so well. And but then again, he was always playing grumpy man when he was younger as well. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and thoroughly enjoyed it. It's got me into the mood for Christmas.
Very good. That's why I did it. That's why you did it. That's why they did it. And actually, 99% sure that's why Charles Dickens wrote this thing. He's like, there is nobody who can't be transformed in their inner being by some Christmas spirit, by some reality checks, by some potent interpersonal interventions. And that's basically what this is here is a codger who is about ready to completely implode various people's lives, various people's children's lives, his own family, and it's all for naught. I mean, he could have done the right thing, and it's a supernatural story too. I mean, these are ghosts that are divinely sent. I mean, not demonically sent, and they have a reason to be there. And I thought that the story was rich, and I'd never heard the whole story laid out like this. I've read it back in the day, but this was the first time that I had actually heard it, and it is a play. It is a performance piece, and I've seen it done and chopped up to do on the theater and to do on the screen, and this time it had a resonance. I mean, there was some really cool character change moments when Kenneth Branagh, what's his name? Anyway.
Cranham,
that's right. That's the one. Thank you. That's why this forgetful person has two other wonderful cast members here who are also great and stuff. So, yeah, he nailed it. I mean, there were these turning point pin moments where the ghost would put a pin in it and he would revolve around it, and you could tell in the character that it was that he was changing, and it took enough time to let those changes be realistic and real. And wow, I mean, beautifully well done. And the sounds, the special effects sounds were beautiful, not over the top, not like explosions or somebody shouting through a microphone about being the Ghost of Christmas Future. I mean, but yes, talking a little bit, which was different, but yeah. And then, you know, the Ghost of Christmas Present, like her, her twinkling noise when she's turning on the light. I mean, that was, you know, it was really awesome. Anyway, wow, going through walls, everything, it was pretty amazingly done on every front. And so I gave you my favorite moments. Those turning point moments were really my favorites, where Scrooge really was given a chance to do that and kind of held it out of the park. Anyway, like to find out your favorite moments. Please, what were your favorite moments, Steve? Dad?
There are magical moments in it, and the arrival of Jacob Marley was brilliant. I loved the way that it was done really, really well. And the description of the chain with the cash boxes attached to it, it was just superb. The description of the Ghost of Christmas Past was also brilliant. It's very much the way it is in the book, and very much the way it's never been done in films. Because basically, Ghost of Christmas Past is like a candle and can be put out. It's an extraordinary story. Yeah, the first time that you actually hear Tiny Tim say, "God bless us, everyone," another magical moment. It was completely quiet, everything else totally, and you could hear his voice really clearly. The little fella did a brilliant job on that. Yeah, like you, Susan, I loved the sound effects and that they did. You know, especially when Jacob Marley disappears out of the window and Scrooge goes to the window and sees the spirits flying around. That was extraordinary, and got a little shiver up the back. If you know the story and you read the book and you hear that bit, that is, yeah, it was absolutely super. The conversation between his nephew Fred and the rest and his friends about Scrooge was just superb. And yeah, then of course later on when Scrooge goes there for Christmas, invites himself, well, he doesn't invite himself, he accepts the invitation to Christmas dinner. It's just brilliant. But yeah, the real bit for me every time in every version that I've seen has been where he wakes up on Christmas morning, and it is Christmas morning, and he looks out the window, chats to the little boy, gets the little boy to go and get the prize bird that's hanging up at Poulterer's, and that does it for me every time. Always puts a little lump in my throat. Yeah, done excellently well. Done excellently well. And as I say, it was lovely to hear Miriam do Ghost of Christmas Present. And God bless Ken. Ebenezer Scrooge. Well, I never ever thought I'd hear him play that. Because when we were at school, he and I did Macbeth on stage. And he played the title role. And he was brilliant. And it was after that he went to the National Youth Theatre, and after that into the with it. He was just superb. He was a brilliant actor, even as a kid. That's about it for me.
Fantastic. Lee, what were your favorite moments?
Well, as I say, I enjoyed it from beginning to end. I mean, when I first saw it was 3.5 hours long, I thought, whoa, this is going to be some ride. But it dragged you in. I mean, everybody knows the story of the Christmas Carol, but as they say, you don't know the full story. And this is, I do think this is a brilliant adaptation. As I say, for me, the performances of all the spirits were really top notch. The way Jacob Marley, the entrance of Jacob Marley was subtly done. Because you usually get, in the films and all that, you get the wailing, the rattling of the chains, but this was subtly done. And he sits down in the chair to talk to Scrooge and stuff like that, just like a normal conversation. But then, as Beef Dad says, when he goes out the window, all the spirits are there, and brilliant atmosphere of that. And as I say, the performances of all the spirits, and as I say, the ghost of the Christmas to come, as it's already mentioned, is usually a silent figure. But I did enjoy this. They gave this spirit a voice, and it was really well done by what's his name? Tim. It was Tim, wasn't it? Tim McInnery. Yeah. And it also I think it was when he was with the Ghost of Christmas Present, I think, where they went out onto the sea and they visited the sailors on the ships. Brilliant scenes. And then, as you say, you get the usual scenes of where they're watching his nephew with the family around, playing games and all that. And of course, Scrooge is they're making fun of him because he's not, Uncle Scrooge is not there, sort of thing. Everybody knows that scene, but it's still, it still brings a smile to my face every time you hear it or see it. But yeah, brilliantly done. I loved it all the way through. So I'm not going to give away my score, but I think you may guess what it is.
All right. Well, let's do some. Well, okay. My favorite. I have to tell you, the scenes of Scrooge and his girlfriend were. I mean, I thought it got going like they the development was so good that you thought that they would make it, and then she turned it away, spurned him and stuff. That was perfect. Anyway, so and then there were the other character moments which were fantastic, absolutely, as Beef Dad would say, magical. So much power in the story and the power to transform, which is awesome. And let's see, I'd like to hear any other versions that you'd like to mention? Any version that you'd like to compare to this?
Well, if you're talking about other versions of this story done in audio or TV and stuff, movies, everybody goes to the 1950s classic Alistair Sims version, of course. Everybody, if you say Ebenezer Scrooge, that's the image you get in your head now. It's so implanted into people's a certain generation's memory. It's the image you get, but that's the watered down version, of course. It's fitted into 90 minutes.
Yeah.
This is, as I said, it's the full shebang. So there's a lot missed out in that movie. What you get put back into this audio adaptation, and yeah, that movie's a classic film. But other versions, you've got the musical version with Albert Finney, which is another classic one. You know, that's on every Christmas. You know,
Patrick Stewart one.
Oh yeah, there's a Patrick Stewart one. There's that many versions.
You know, there's one that Colin Baker played Dickens in. I can't. I'm trying to find that one. That might be really cool to see. And
Would that be? Would be in his younger days, or was it a recent?
Middle age. I mean, a few like 10, 15 years ago, but still long after he was done with the show. Go ahead.
The one that I would have loved to have seen was Dickens's actual performance of it himself.
Oh my.
And he used to do it as a reading and a performance. And yeah, this is why it rang lots of bells with me, with Derek Jacobi playing Charles Dickens, narrating it. And Dickens used to do it. He would read it and he would characterize, and brilliant. But I don't know if he reduced it in size for performance, but I got a feeling he got a vague recollection. I read somewhere that he didn't. He read the whole thing, and it, as you guess, is somewhere around 3 to 3.5 hours, and you know, so he did it in several acts, and yeah, I would have loved to have seen that, but this gave me a feeling of what it must have been like.
Yeah, weren't there 4 staves or acts in this one?
Yeah, so
4 or 5 or something like that. Yeah, you're right.
I tell you, the closest thing nowadays to get the experience of Charles Dickens on stage doing this is the Simon Callow performance.
Yeah,
he does. He has literally become Charles Dickens. Yeah, he is. I've seen clips on TV when he's doing his performance on stage, and because he absolutely loves Charles Dickens. And he does. I mean, he has been known to play Charles Dickens in other TV series, but he has, and I'm sure there's a movie this year, or was it last year, where he's done a solo performance of Christmas Carol. I'm gonna have to check that up, check on that one. But Simon Callow will be the closest thing you'll ever get to the real Charles Dickens, shall we say, performance-wise on stage.
So, not comparing this, what would you give this as a score, Beef Dad?
Oh, it's a 10. It's definitely 100% a 10. It's long, but you get so involved with it, and it's just brilliantly performed, superbly directed. There's just it just pulls you right in, and you are quite happy to stay in there. As Lee said, he did it in one sitting, and so did I. It is just excellent.
Thanks. And Lee, what would you give this out of 10?
It's 3.5 hours long. Too long. There's all these British old farts of the English theatre in it. You know, they go on and on and on for 3.5 hours long, trying to get across this over 100 years old story, what's been done over and over and over again. But this is bloody awesome. I loved it. It's a 10.
Wow, okay, and I will agree with my cast members here. that yes, indeed, it is a 10, and I think that you know, once a year we should endeavor to find a way to hear this or watch this. It is going to become a regular thing for me because it's so beautiful. Go ahead, Steve. What were you going to say?
It's not just 100 years old, Lee. It's over 150 years old. It was actually published in 1843,
Oh,
which is before even I was born.
yeah, that is it. But it seems that we're into the candlelight ending of this podcast, and I'd just like to thank you guys for listening along, and thank you for believing in Christmas. Thank you for allowing these old stories to transform our lives too. So may your days be merry and bright. And Chief Joe, what would Tiny Tim say?
God bless us, everyone.
And Lee, what would Tiny Tim say?
Any more turkey?
Well, God bless us, everyone. Thanks.